Hi guys, welcome back to Just an Ordinary Girl. Tonight I thought I'd go ahead and try to make a vegan corned beef. I found a recipe on the internet. The recipe that I'm going with, her name, or the website's name, was thehiddenveggies.com. So you can always grab the recipe off of her website. But I've never tried this before, so I thought let's try it and we'll put it up on my channel and see, and I'll tell you if it's good or not. I can show you real quick what it looks like. So let's get started. First thing you're going to need is 5 cups of water, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pickling spice, 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds, 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds, 1 leaf or bay leaf, 1 small beet, or 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. It says add a few drops of red food coloring, 2 14-ounce packages of tofu, tempeh, or seitan. And then for the vegan corned beef and cabbage meal, you'll need 1 small cabbage, 4 to 6 potatoes, and 3 to 4 medium carrots. The first step is to put the water. You're going to need 5 cups of water into your pot. Now we're going to go ahead and add the seasonings, spices. Okay, so we got 1 bay leaf. Just add it to your pot. We'll do the pickling spice next. It says 1 teaspoon. Now they say you can add this all into a tea ball if you want, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to throw it in the pot. 1 teaspoon of the mustard seed. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of salt. And it's calling for coriander seeds, but I don't have one. I don't have the seeds, so I'm going to use the powder coriander. Hopefully that won't make a difference. Now it's asking for 1 small beet, or you could use the brown sugar. That's gonna, with the red food coloring, that'll be your color. But I'm gonna open up a can of sliced beets and we'll try that. Okay, so then you just take the liquid and dump that into your pot. That's going to give it the color of corned beef. Okay, your next step is you're going to want to go ahead and bring this to a boil, and you're going to boil it for your brine for 10 minutes. Okay, now while the brine is starting to boil, we're going to go ahead and prepare the meat part. So I'm using tofu today. So I got this kind of tofu here. It's extra firm. And then I have a package of this, which is a non-silken, or a silken tofu, but it's firm. So we'll go ahead and take these out of the packages. We're going to drain them. And I'm going to take paper towels to get the liquid out as much as possible. And then we'll slice it up. Okay, so you see there's the 2 different varieties. And you just get paper towel and you just kind of blot it like this to get your the liquid out, the water out. This one here is a little softer. I don't know if it's going to make a good tofu or not, but we're going to try. Since it is so soft, you got to be really careful not to crush it too much. But the firm probably is your best bet if you're making this. Okay, now next step she says to cut it in a 1/4 inch thickness. Right now your boiling brine should be filling your house up with all kinds of unique odors. I can really smell the beet juice. And I would say the coriander. Okay, so there's my thickness here. Let's try this one. I hope this one will work, but it's very, very soft, so I think I'm going to make this a little thicker, so it'll stay together better. Otherwise, I think it'll just break apart. So if you have real thin tofu, cut it thicker, I would say. Okay, now we just have to wait until the brine reaches 10 minutes of cooking time. And it is currently almost 4 minutes, so I'll come back. Okay, now the 10 minutes is up for this. Now there's what the brine looks like. And there's my tofu. Now it says to take this and put it in here for 5 minutes. And we're going to let this simmer for 5 minutes. And then once it's done simmering for 5, then we'll leave it in. It says for half an hour. At this point, if you're not ready to cook your food, it says you can take it and put it in the refrigerator for like the half hour until you're ready. Okay, so there's 1 pack. I hope it all fits in here. Okay, and hopefully this tofu that I have won't break up, but we're trying this new for the first time together. It should be, oops, this already fell apart. Trying to take it off the plate, you see? So I just have to be really, really careful with this brand. And it looks like it's going to break up, but we're not going to sweat the small stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and dump it in there anyways. Can't hurt. They just won't be big pieces. So I would definitely suggest getting the extra firm tofu. Okay, get yourself a little spoon or something. Go ahead and leave this in here now and bring it to a simmer for 5 minutes. Okay guys, make sure you go ahead and preheat your oven to 375 degrees. At least you can get that started. Your brine should be simmering gently. See how it's simmering? And then what we're going to do is I have the cabbage and carrots and get some potatoes, and we're going to go ahead with making a whole meal. Okay guys, the 5 minutes is up. We're going to go ahead and shut off the stove, and we're going to let this sit here for 30 minutes. So go ahead and set your timers on your microwave while you're cleaning up the vegetables. I'll show you. See? I'm getting my potatoes cleaned up. I'm going to get my cabbage, and then I'll get my carrots, and then we'll be back. Okay guys, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut these vegetables up. Now, it says in the directions that you want to cut them thick. So we'll go ahead and cut them thick. And I'm not going to take any of the skin off because you can get extra nutrients from it. So we'll do that. I would have liked to have posted this video up yesterday on St. Patrick's Day, but because I went to the chiropractor and had some adjustments done, I just wasn't up to cooking in the kitchen. So hopefully this will be good for someone for next year. So there's what I'm going to do with these pieces. Just cut them like that, and then I'm just going to toss them into a bowl. This was not really one of my, I'm a little Irish, but this is not really a dish that I grew up with. So it'll be interesting to taste it and see how it is. Okay, now the cabbage is next. We'll see. If she says a small head, and I would say this is a small head compared to some of the heads that we can get around here. My camera fell over, but you want to go ahead and cut your cabbage into bigger pieces. So I'm just going to cut it like this, see how that works. Into little chunks like that. And take this ugly spot off. Oops, and then it gets like that. There we go. So what are some fun things you guys do for St. Patrick's Day? Let me know down in the comments. Just go ahead and cut your cabbage into rather large chunks. And then we'll go to the potatoes. Okay, now that your cabbage is cut into little wedges, I'm going to go ahead and cut up some potatoes. I'm going to leave the skins on mine. This is how I'm cutting mine. Just like this into fours. We'll see how that turns out. The brine that's soaking into the tofu, that is going to be going off here soon. So then after that, we're going to go ahead and take it out, and we're going to, it says to use oil on the baking tray, but I think I'm going to use a little bit of vegan margarine, and we're going to see if that works. Okay, so now that the vegetables are cut, the timer's going off for the tofu that's in the brine. Okay, so yesterday I was at, after the chiropractor, I went to Walmart, and I picked up this, it's a silicone baking mat. Now, I've done a couple of fries on it just to see how it turned out. It turned out really well. My thought is maybe I could put the tofu on here and then just very slightly put a little oil, but not oil, but vegan margarine. These are these are supposed to be so that you don't have to use oil, I believe. But since this is a new recipe to me, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead lightly, and we're going to lightly do that. So I'm going to go ahead. Here's what I use. Occasionally we do. And I'm just going to take a paper towel. We're going to just stick it down in there. This is what I do. Then I'll go ahead and put that all over this new baking mat. Hey, the baking mat was pretty cheap too. It was only like $4.95. But I wanted to see what it would actually be like. This here recipe, she actually calls for you to oil a baking sheet. So, because we don't use olive oil or anything like that, I think maybe this will work. We want it to where we can get the tofu browned and not sticking. Okay. Now to get the tofu out of the brine is the next step. I'm going to try this out here. Where can I set you guys? I want you to be able to see this. And for some reason today, my camera keeps wanting to fall over. Oh, see, it's sliding. Okay, so I'm going to try this spatula. Just going to set them on there. I want to do this one first because it's these are the silkened type tofu. It's going to take about an hour, it says in the recipe at 375. So I'm going to go ahead and put this all on the tray and we'll come back. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm just taking a paper towel and I'm just going to blot off the top a little bit. Because tofu, to get it crispy, you have to have it sort of dry. My recipe doesn't say to do that, but anyways, that's what I got. And I'm going to go ahead and stick that in the oven now until it gets crispy, about an hour it says. And then while that's working, while this goes in, then we're going to go ahead and put the vegetables into the brine. And then you're supposed to add some, like about 1 cup of water to it. And cover it with a lid and simmer it until the vegetables are tender. Hope I have enough room. Cooking can be so much fun, especially when you're cooking something new to you or different. I'll go ahead and probably speed this up a little bit. Okay, now it says to add some water. I think it called for about a cup of water, so we're going to go ahead and put this on with a lid. Grab a lid. Okay, the lid doesn't quite fit, but we're going to leave it like that until the vegetables start to cook down a little. And then we can push it down. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and cook this until it's tender. Okay guys, so we're back and here's what it's looking like. So this is the cabbage, nice and cooked here, and we got the carrots here. They're all nice and tender. Potatoes here are just falling apart nicely. And let's see, in the oven, this is the corned beef, tofu. Bring this out. And down here I'm making the Irish wheat bread, so the recipe will be right up after this. Okay, so here we go. Let's see how we're looking. So I did flip these over once. I want to feel it. So yeah, it has a texture of corned beef, I guess. This one, not so much. This tofu here is really flimsy. You see, it doesn't even brown properly. So I definitely say go with this type of a tofu, the thicker. Yep, it cooked nicely on this baking sheet, by the way, so I would recommend that. So okay, I'll be back when this is all plated up. Okay guys, here's what it looks like all plated up. So we got our potatoes, cabbage, carrots, and our fake corned beef. And I'm still waiting on the bread. That'll be ready in a few minutes. How about, let me just show you what it looks like. It looks so good. It's got about 8 minutes left, and then it'll all be ready. Okay guys, the bread's all ready to go with the corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and carrots. There we go. That is our feast for St. Patrick's Day. Please don't forget to look for the recipe for this here beautiful looking bread that we're going to try. It's an Irish wheat bread. And I'm going to tell you, the corned beef turned out really well. I would say that next time I make it, instead of it making it this thin, I'm going to make it thicker like this. So yeah, go with the thicker and not so thin, because when you do the thin, it gets a little chewy. So go with the thicker if you make my recipe there. Well, it's not my recipe, but if you make the recipe. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and he missed his cue. Honey,
I don't know when you
like, share, subscribe, and
hit that bell
for more of our videos. Thank you very much for watching.